Cameras are rolling, Mike.
Wow.
Is that
Been
where
a while.
Is that where you're going to sit?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Need me to move?
No, I'll just move the camera towards you.
Okay. What's that?
I thought that was the wasp. That's
Another creature?
Yeah, another biting creature.
Well, maybe that wants to be on the show.
Yeah, sure. 3. Okay. You ready?
Yep.
Here we go. You excited?
I am excited, Travis.
Are you?
Yes. I've been missing you.
I know. I feel like my Mondays would come around, I roll over and feed the ponies. I'm like, I have nothing else to do today. What am I going to do?
Right, yeah.
Nothing. Just sit around and look at myself. Here we go.
And now for something special. The unit is self-contained with its own saddler, farrier, wheelwright and so on. It's a rigorous training dished out who know all there is to know about horses, and it brings results.
We take you behind the scenes now to show just some of the interesting aspects of this training.
Welcome back to Season 10 of Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine, the award-winning #1 podcast to create sounder horses from the ground up. Mike Stine is a registered journeyman farrier with an APF-1 accreditation. On this week's show, talking terminology, we're going to talk about the TSA, the tendon surface angle.
You sure?
I think so. Also, we have some case studies to look at. We have some x-rays as well, and a case study of a horse named Daisy that was where the horse was tripping, and we have all that here and so much more here on Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. And over my far right side is Mike Stine. How are you?
Hey, Travis, how are you? You sure it's not the Transportation Security Administration?
No, that's the different TSA. We're going to talk.
Okay, what about the one from South Park?
What was that one called?
Toilet Safety Administration.
Only you would know that, Mike. Only you would know that. But we are going to talk about the tendon surface angle and all the other things that I mentioned at the beginning of the show. We're getting back. Our feet are getting wet again. This is episode 1 of season 10, so we'd like to welcome everyone back to this. It's going to be a phenomenal season. Mike's got a whole bunch of people lined up for the next 12 weeks of people being in the studio, on the air with us, a whole bunch of different case studies, x-rays and stuff. And don't forget, every podcast we do, we have a video over on YouTube as well. You can see us here in the studio. You can see me waving to Mike, Mike waving to me over there. And anytime we discuss case studies or x-rays or any kind of videos that are more of a visual element, we want to steer you to that direction over on the YouTube channel. Just give them a little subscribe over there, and you can follow along right with us as we talk about things here on the show. So, Mike, how are you?
I'm doing good, doing good.
Couple weeks off. Did you do anything exciting?
I did. I was in Kentucky for a few days at Dr. Eddins. He ran a lecture up there.
You go there every year, right?
Pretty regular, just about, yeah. And for something. For something. Yeah, I mean, a couple of years ago, I was up there for Doc. I was up there for IPF. I was up there because I was up there for the Breeders' Cup. And I think, or maybe it wasn't IPF. That year I was up there for the Land Rover and the Breeders' Cup.
So this time when you were up there, did you learn anything exciting, or is that something that we're going to talk about on this week's show?
We're going to talk a little bit, and I met some new friends and caught up with some old friends. And
and the new friends that are old people anyways.
Right. No. Well, yeah.
Yeah, older people.
Older people.
Yeah. So, Mike, I have some, I don't know if it's bad news or not. It's worrisome news.
Worrisome news.
So, as you know, we sit on 22 some acres here, and my wife is getting ready to do a show. That's not the worrisome news.
Right.
The worrisome news is we have Dominique, which is here, which is our mare.
Right.
And we have Cayenne, which is her little pasture buddy that's out there. So a few weeks back, I think around episode 10 of season 9, my wife, I don't know if you found it or she found it, Dominique had a rock embedded into her foot. Did you find it, or did she?
I think she did.
Okay. So, and you know, we have here in the Carolinas, we have gravel driveways, and then sometimes the gravel, you know, when I mow the lawn, spits one out there in the field, and sometimes she'll get a piece of gravel in her hoof, and it was stuck there. I mean, like embedded in there. And so she was favoring it a little bit. So she went out there and did the knife pick, and, you know, picked everything out, and everything looked good. But the next week went by, she was still walking a little gingerly on that side. Now what's happening is she's little gingerly to this day. This is 4 weeks later now. To this day, right now, she is slowly walking. And I remember we were talking about on the wrapping up season 9, where you were talking about horses having laminitis. Oh, the horse doesn't want to move around. It's just getting lazy. It's just getting, you know, whatever. It's
right.
slower. When I do the food when I walk down to feed the horses, usually they're locking step right with me, walking down the fence. Now, it's kind of like I have to do this whistle call, and they kind of look up, and she takes her absolute sweet time coming down. And Amy was out there one time with me, and she's like, look at her. She's laboring on her front legs. Like, it's like, trying to, step by step.
Okay, last little bit, we've gotten a lot of rain and we were very dry. We've got a lot of grass growth. So think about that in your feeding program. And
so what we've done, speaking of the feeding program, we've blocked her off the front pasture. The front pasture is the one that we seed, and we do the most grass, and that's where all the goodies are out there. The back 2 pastures aren't really, they're good, but they're not as well fed as the front pasture. So she's worried that Dominique might be coming into laminitis.
It is possible. We'll take a look at her before we leave.
Okay. But so I just wanted to bring that up, and she's like, I don't know what to do. And she's at the point where she's like, I don't know if I hate to go in this direction, but I don't want to. You have to make a decision.
Right.
Is this a recovery thing? Is this, how much, money do I want to put into this horse to have this horse recover so it can turn around and just eat grass type situation again.
Right.
So she already let me know. She's like, be prepared. If I have to make the decision, I want you to support me. And I'm like, it's all on you. This is, your field and everything like that. So that's what we're dealing with here on our property.
Okay. Yeah.
So just giving you a heads up there. So what else you got going on? Anything, Mike? Not that I brought everyone down the first episode. You brought the drama right out of the gate.
I did.
Yeah.
But now.
No, you don't want to talk about it? All right, well, we'll take a little break, collect our thoughts, and we'll come back and we'll talk about talking terminology. And if you're new to the program, I'll explain what that is. So stick around. You're listening to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. He'll be right back.
Greetings. This is Julia Fisher, Secretary of the South Carolina Horse Council, reaching out to urge you to join your South Carolina State Horse Council. The South Carolina Horse Council is the only statewide, all-volunteer, 501c3 organization that works for the benefit of the equine industry in South Carolina. Our mission is to connect, communicate, and educate. The South Carolina Horse Council represents all breeds, riding styles, and activity preferences. The council works to serve the horse community in a myriad of ways. For example, we help to educate our members, our elected officials, and the general public about the benefits of equestrian activities. South Carolina Horse Council holds clinics throughout the state on topics such as horsemanship, pasture management, equine nutrition, lameness, trailer safety, and barn management. Are you a member yet? Visit schorsecouncil.com.
You ready?
Yep.
Are you thinking about that now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Here we go. Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. Make sure you follow him over on YouTube. Don't forget, for every podcast we do, like I said, we have a matching video. We have a lot of visual elements that you will see here during every podcast that we have. And we have over 9 seasons of great case studies and everything. We're going to dive into a case study of a horse named Daisy. And we're also going to do some x-rays, show you some x-rays of some horses that Mike ran across here in the last couple weeks or so. And make sure you follow him over on Facebook as well, just Equine Dynamics, Mike Stine over on Facebook. Now, talking terminology. Let me describe this of what this segment is for the new people out there or listen to the show. You ever been walking around in a barn, or your doctor or your veterinarian or someone just in passing and stuff, Mike, and they've said something to you and you're like going, oh, yeah, I know what that means. And you, in the back of your mind, you're like going, I don't know what that means.
Right.
Or I know kind of what that means. Well, what we've done here on Equine Dynamics is we have got a segment called Talking Terminology, and we actually define what those terminologies mean, or those terms mean, so you can feel a little bit more comfortable when you hear it. Oh, yes, now I can relate that. I can put 2 and 2 together and hopefully come up with a solution. This week, we're going to talk about what people call the TSA. So if you ever heard that, which actually stands for the tendon surface angle.
Sure?
Yes. So, Mike, what do we mean by when we talk about the TSA, or someone hears the TSA talking about the tendon surface angle?
Okay.
Is this where we get the cameras going?
This is where we get the cameras going.
All right, so this is where you guys will go over to YouTube and you can see this in real time as we're talking about it here. Mike's got a little drawing. I'm going to switch to camera 9, and we can see this in real time. So what do you got there? Now,
right,
yeah, keep it towards you. There you go. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to get something. I got something for you.
You got something for me?
Yeah. Shed a little light on it.
Nice. Put a little light on the subject. There we go.
There you go. So that looks like a horse's hoof.
It kind of is, yeah.
And Mike, you definitely have the hands of a farrier.
They're beautiful, right?
Yes. All right, there you go.
I'm always worried about farriers that have pristine,
pretty hands. Yeah.
Anyway, the tendon surface angle, what they're talking about is, okay, we got the hoof, we got the coffin bone, we got the short pastern, and of course the long pastern would be up here.
Right.
And the navicular bone is here. The flexor tendon comes in and comes around the navicular bone and comes in and attaches on the bottom of the coffin bone. And depending on the angle of the coffin bone, that and the pastern alignment and all that kind of stuff, that can change this angle of the navicular bone. That bone can also cock a little bit. It can be a little lower, a little more upright. And they've been a lot of looking at that angle. Is it here? Is it here? And a couple things go on. Like if you got a horse that drops to a really low angle, this pastern angle will tend to stand up. And of course, you have a bigger angle there most of the time, depending on what this does. That doesn't always mean that. But on those horses where this pastern stands up, if you start feeling your flexors, and that's something you ought to get used to, is the deep flexor tight or loose? Because you can have a low palmar angle horse with a loose deep flexor, different ball game than if you got that angle and a tight flexor.
Now, are you talking about actually physically touching the horse?
Physically touching the horse, get used to feeling them.
Now, what should a good tendon feel like? You know, when they talk about having a steak, they always show you your palm. This is what medium rare feels like. This is what rare feels like. This is what, you ever seen that where they pinch the palm of your hand?
Yeah, you don't want it rare and you don't want it overdone.
Right. So, but I mean, is there some kind of when I'm squeezing the tendon, what am I looking for? How much play am I looking for?
Right. You don't want it tight as a banjo string, but you don't want it floppy either. So, I mean, if you get used to doing that on horses when you're feeling legs, when they're loading it, you'll start getting some ideas about where it should be. If you've got the really upright pastern has stood up, and that is really, that tendon has gotten soft, and you've got a really, really low palmar angle, and they're crushing the lateral cartilages and the plantar cushion, the whole bit. And so you try to do something to get and this is why sometimes when you wedge your horse up, if you wedge it up, if that's soft, it will collapse back down. If it's tight and you got a lot of tension on it, you can get it to stand back up. But then as that palmar angle stands up and that pastern, if it will set back some, then you soften the tendon.
The TSA. Go ahead.
But anyway, just as a look at the TSA, if you look at this angle versus this angle, and you think about the tendons coming in, that's hard turnaround there. How much wear and how much force do you have into that navicular burst and that navicular bone? And that does probably, I think that does probably have a play on some of these horses that show up as navicular type issues. But here's the other thing. When all this discussion, this is something that's really coming to light. They're looking at it a lot harder. Okay, back when they discovered there was a navicular breakdown in the 80s, everything was navicular, right?
Yes, and it's the buzzword.
Then we got into EPM, and everything that took a bad step in the back end was EPM. And then we started looking at backs, and anything that had kissing spine or low back, oh my God, everything's kissing spine. They can't. But, is that going to be kind of gone crazy with? Or is it kept sensible? Because there are horses out there that have ugly navicular X-rays that you cannot make lame.
So, in talking terminology, TSA is defined by the tendon surface angle of the horse's hoof, is the angle formed by the connecting of the drawing line of the distal half, is that right, of the navicular bone to the line drawn of the hoof's ground surface.
Right.
So, and what's that? Is there a good reference as far as angle or degree of angles? Do you want it 30%? Do you want it 80%? Do you want it somewhere in between?
Well, I think
because I'm looking at angles here and I'm like going, well, if I had a protractor, I could measure those angles right there.
Sure you could.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of those deals that we're probably still working out a bit. I think they've got some pretty good ideas, and I'm not ready to dive into that and say that's what it is, because that's like the whole thing of angle of a foot. At one point, most of your shoeing says 53 degrees is the perfect angle of a front foot.
So everyone strives to get 53 because, and if it's 52, the horse is no good, and if it's 54, the horse is no good.
Exactly, and then some feet you got a very low angle of the coffin bone. I mean, really sharp angle. There have been angles that have been measured less than 40 degrees, and there's other angles that have been measured 60 degrees plus. And if you make that foot 53 degrees with either one of those coffin bones, you've got an issue,
another
one way
issue
or another.
Right.
So what is the angulation? What is the angle of the coffin bone before you start deciding that, and you don't know that completely without good pictures,
right?
X-rays.
All right, guys, when we come back, stick around. If you're not on YouTube, now's a great chance to go over there right now because we have some x-rays that Mike has taken over the past couple of weeks that he's been diving into, and he wants to discuss those here on the show. So go over to YouTube and you can watch those videos as well. Stick around. You're listening to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. He'll be right back.
Right. When you go to the airport, when they have that TSA sign, that's what they're talking about, right?
Right, exactly.
Greetings again from the South Carolina Horse Council. Our horse welfare programs offer small grants to equine owners who are struggling financially for specific veterinary bills. First, our Stallions to Geldings funding acknowledges the benefits of gelding your animal, and once the application is attested to by the vet and approved, it provides direct payments to your vet for gelding services. This is an important resource and has been able to assure that hundreds of equines in the state, horses, donkeys, and mules, have received quality care. Our euthanasia program helps with final arrangements for those owners who may be struggling with end-of-life arrangements for their equine partners and lack adequate resources. The funds do not cover disposal, but once again, once approved, can provide direct-to-the-vet payments for managing euthanasia expenses. Are you a member yet? Visit schorsecouncil.com.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. If you have a question for Mike Stine, the way you get a hold of him is to go over to equinedynamics.com. That's equinedynamics.com. At the top of the page says Contact Us. And fill out that little form. Make sure you put a physical return address over there. And if you do that, make sure you put, we'll send you out a prize pack. We've got a whole bunch of magnets, some stickers. I've got some beer koozies or soda koozies coming here soon.
Wow.
I ordered some the other day, so it'll be, I think, a couple weeks for them to have them all printed out. So if you want to get some of those as well, go over to...
I don't have any koozies.
You don't have any koozies? Well, you're going to have your own Mike Stine Equine Dynamics koozie here in the next couple weeks. So make sure you get your orders in now. They're free for us to give them out to you. Just get your address in there and make sure you give Mike Stine a like over on Facebook as well. And over to my far hand side is my very own drink koozie, Mike Stine. How are you?
I'm doing good, Travis. How are you?
I'm doing well. You look good, Mike. You smell good. Your hands are, you had a horse that you had to do emergency horse this morning, so your hands are a little dirty. I'll let that slide.
You can't clean my hands with a stiff wire brush anyway.
You got to dunk them in diesel is what it looks like.
Well, they are dunked in diesel sometimes.
Yeah, all the time when you're out there messing with horses. So now we're going to discuss some x-rays. I guess I should have asked you which x-rays you want to look first, but we'll go ahead and do this now. And I'm going to switch over to camera 6 here so we can see these little bitty x-rays, and I'll blow them up here, so don't worry. So what are we looking at here, Mike?
That is another little case that somebody sent me the other day.
Oh, my God. Look at that foot.
Yeah, it's just another little laminated pony.
The hoof looks okay, but that coffin bone is like almost like nosedive straight down.
It's nosedive. You have especially on that lower end, the HL zone, horn to laminized zone has definitely opened up. And if you look from the coronary band down, you've probably got some sinking. And as far as measuring from the coronary band to the extensor process. And, this guy's kind of hopping around a little bit. So that was one that somebody sent me to ask some questions about.
Okay. And is this a treatable, fixable thing, or just to get him happy type thing?
Well, it's like Dr. Ed said the other week, said, when people work on horses and we're doing something mechanical to get a horse working, and people come out with, I fix the horse. We don't fix anything. We don't fix anything. We've provided a situation where they can be comfortable and they can hopefully
live out their best
days. And even competition riding horses, there's plenty of horses out there that I've done something mechanical on to keep them at their best. But if you pull all that off of the horse, if the horse down to that point and you didn't fix it, he's still lame. We just got him functioning.
So this is another picture. Is this another foot of the same horse, or is this?
They're both on the same horse,
okay.
and his computer programs will spin them around. But there is a difference on the tip of the collar bones as far as damage on that tip of the collar bone. So there has been some erosion that's been going on for a while, and it's a little chronic foundered pony. Now,
has this coffin bone stuck out or protruded out the bottom of the foot yet, or you don't know yet? You haven't physically laid hands on this
horse.
As
I know, this is first look at this one as far as that goes.
Okay, so you haven't physically seen the horse. They sent you these x-rays to look at.
And we don't have a series of x-rays so we can pattern what's going on. And some of these old chronic ones, the changes are very slow.
So what's next for this horse? This is the right front foot, and then this is the left of the same front foot.
Right, and this was a little guy, and I actually did go out and work on it. There wasn't anything punctured through or anything. Mm-hmm. And ended up building a form of a clog. Added some pretty serious, pretty major mechanics on there, and between a couple screws on either side to stabilize it, and a little bit of super fast, and stuck it on there, and he walked off real nice.
So
it was just something I built out of a piece of plywood,
And so I guess back to my main concern, I know you're going to look at Dominique if we can, wrestle her up here. As far as I'm hoping that nothing has happened to her as far as her foot being laminitic now.
Right.
Because when's the last time you shoot her? I mean, not too long, or not shoot her, but trimmed her.
It's probably getting about due time again, I would think.
But the last time you were here, you didn't really see anything or notice anything?
No.
So I don't know. My wife, she sees one thing and she's like, she always goes to 10, as far as looking at the horse. Oh my God, that thing bruised her.
It could be that she's got a bruise. It could be that the bruise is cooking, because sometimes they'll bruise it and turn into an abscess.
Yeah.
It could be that we've had a lot of grass growth.
So she's getting a little heavy out there?
She is not burning the calories off.
I'll tell you what, she is not burning the calories, and
she's not in a hard training program like you are.
Yeah, exactly. And I do a hard training program every morning. I just want to let you know that.
That's right, and it shows. It shows.
It does show. All right, guys, stick around. When we come back, we're going to talk about a horse cut or a case study by a horse named Daisy. So stick around. You're listening to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. He'll be right back. Those fucking chickens, man. They want to lay eggs in the garage now.
I like chickens because they taste like chicken.
Here at the South Carolina Horse Council, our membership dues are affordably priced for individuals, families, farms, and businesses. Lifetime membership options mean you'll never have to worry about missing that annual renewal deadline to remain in good standing. Membership in the South Carolina Horse Council offers a number of important benefits. The council offers $1 million worth of personal excess liability insurance at an affordable group rate to all of our members, whether you're a resident of the state of South Carolina or not. We have compiled a trails booklet with all public trails listed and mapped within the state, available to new members for free or upon request for the cost of the postage. Our website provides updates for emergency preparedness on evacuation sites for equines in the event of hurricanes, floods, or other natural disasters. Visit schorsecouncil.com.
You want to show your picture of everyone there?
Sure.
Out so I can smack you. Did I get him? No. Tear everything apart. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. Make sure you follow him over on Facebook. And what you do is you search Equine Dynamics Mike Stine. And he doesn't post like his lunch or anything over there. What he does, he actually posts different articles, different pictures, different x-rays and everything. It's more of an educational purpose. So if you're really a big fan of educating yourself about the equine world and building sounder horses from the ground up, go over to his Facebook page. We'll get him.
And sometimes lunch is a can of sardines and a pack of peanuts.
Right. So
eating gourmet.
And you can see all these different articles and furthering your education over on the Facebook page. So just give them a like and a share over there as well. And over on my far hand side, my very own favorite like and share is Mike Stine. How are you?
I'm doing good, Travis. How are you?
I'm doing good. So you went all the way up to Doc Redden's place.
Went up to Doc Redden's.
I see you got a family portrait of everyone there.
I have a family portrait.
Well, let's see. Hold on. I'm going to switch to camera 9 here. So who are we looking at there? Look at that. It says Doc Redden Equine Podiatry Course, August 9th, or 7th through the 9th, 2024.
Right.
Look at all those fine farriers over there.
Yeah, fine farriers a lot. Probably more veterinarians than farriers usually.
Oh, really?
And, you know.
Which one's you, Mike? There you are, right there.
Right there. Danny's beside me.
Yep, there you go, right there.
Remember Megan? She's in the light blue shirt right there beside, beside Doc. And, you know, there's several others I know in there.
Great turnout. Where's Doc Redden in there?
Doc's got the suspenders.
Oh, I see him right there in the center, dead center.
Right.
So that's a good picture.
Yeah, we had a good time.
It looks like you had a good time.
Make some good contacts. We had, actually, one of the farriers that was there, or excuse me, one of the veterinarians was there. He's on the end down here with the fancy shirt on. But he's from Australia.
Oh, really?
And remember me going down and doing the clinics some years ago.
Yep.
And I was asking him where he was from, and he told me. And
you couldn't tell by his accent?
Well, no. Where in Australia?
Okay.
He is definitely an Aussie, and he knew Annie, and he knows Annie, who set up the clinics down there. Worked with one. She was an editor for an equine magazine, and then Clay Honeycutt was the old farrier that I rode with down there, and he knew Clay.
So what else you got on there on your other behind that picture? What do you got behind
This is a piece of paper saying we went.
Oh, okay.
It's good for all the veterinary accreditations and all that deal.
You gonna hang that in the back of your truck?
No. No. You've seen the back of my truck, right?
There's not much room for anything back there.
It's a little bit like a nuclear blast area.
Exactly. So now, speaking of nuclear blast, we're going to talk about a horse who was tripping. And we've got a photo here of a horse case study by the name of Daisy. I'm going to switch to camera. Let me make sure I get the right picture here. We're going to Daisy right here, and this is camera 6, so we can see this and we can all be friends. So jump on over to YouTube right now, and you can see this video portion over there as well over on Equine Dynamics Mike Stine. Give him a subscribe over there, and you can see when we post new videos and stuff. We also have been posting up little bite-sized pieces, little 1-minute segments, get you in and out if you just want to watch a couple, kind of like what the TikTok does, where it's just a couple seconds, but the podcast is broken up into all these little 1 to 1.5 minute segments. If you just want to catch up, or instead of fast forwarding through the whole entire podcast, you want to hear about one thing, you can see that over there on Mike Stine's YouTube page as well. So what are we looking at here? This looks like a horse.
This is a horse
with it's just the neck of a horse and the shoulder of a horse.
The neck of a horse. Okay, the deal was this horse was brought in. They said when they go on a trail ride, later in the trail ride, the horse will start tripping. And has not
like physically tripping like a human would trip. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Not like going on a trip.
Okay.
You
well, I didn't know if
it flies U.S. Air.
I didn't know if it was a normal horse terminology, tripping as to tripping as far as a human would trip. So I just wanted to clarify that.
It's more like a human would trip, or a horse would trip, stumbling, like you do,
like I do,
like you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and you know, this horse, I've never known it to wear shoes. So, well, we can't blame it on that today. We can, but, you know, since it doesn't have them, and I've never known this horse to have shoes, that's not that. But you know, when you look at the hoof alignment with the pastern alignment, externally, everything looks really good. And nice shaped hoof to it. So all that.
Everything checks
pretty
out.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, when you look up top, that shoulder scapula is pretty straight up and down, right?
Where am I looking at here? Here?
Kind of in there. That's in front of it.
Okay.
But look at the bulge in the muscles in front of it. Look at the hollow. Remember we talked about the traps and all that, that stuff? Behind the shoulder blade and behind the withers, hollowed out, no development, right?
Yes. This little gap right here?
We're right there, but back more where the saddle fits.
Okay.
Okay, that's hollowed out, no development. Now, this horse goes on trail rides and a lot of times packs riders that are very green.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a question about, well, we've been wondering about the saddle. We're not too sure the saddle fits, right? So you've got lack of development behind the shoulders. Over in front of the shoulders, you got way over development. And then, you got some weird fascia lines and all that going on there. Across, drop down to the, and so with that horse is laying over on his front end, that shoulder is locked up. And when he gets tired, it's not, the shoulder's not flowing like it should.
He can't pick up his feet.
He can't pick up his feet, so he's stumbling over them. If he's getting much bend in that front end, it's out of the elbow, which kind of, if you were in the show ring, it would create some weird knee action.
So my question I have for you, Mike,
Right.
you think about these trail horses and stuff. Now, you know how much, like I said, my wife's going to a show this weekend. She's had her saddle flocked and fitted, 3 times over because her horse has gotten bigger and trained and needs the muscle movement. And so, the saddle fitter's been out probably twice in the last 3 months to make sure that the saddle's going to fit right.
And if they got a new vehicle, they're going to be out every month for a while.
Sure. But when you think about, I've been on trail ride with horses, like friends of mine that have horses, and they were like going, oh, grab that saddle there because that one should fit you because it's bigger because I got a big butt. Instead of that saddle.
You can't tell it.
Instead of that saddle there. So they were picking out saddles for me.
Right.
Not picking out saddles for the horse. So meanwhile, this saddle feels nice and comfy under my butt. And meanwhile, look what it's doing to the actual horse itself.
Yeah, but the thing is, a lot of times, and this person is actually thinking about the saddle fit to the horse some at this point,
right?
And sad to say, and when I was young, it's like, oh, it straps on the horse, and I can sit in it, it must fit, right?
Exactly.
So that's kind of where some of that happens, and the horse ends up paying the price. If you're using it along the trail, you might, it might not notice it that much. Horse get a little age on it. Well, he's just getting older, and he just stumbles.
Just walking
he don't
slower.
move like he used to, and just walking a little slower, and all that stuff, right?
Right. So this you could chalk up to proper saddle fitting, because nothing below is wrong.
Right.
Other than the horse's shoulder up above,
I'm not getting any kind of responses. It's if you're going by now, this is all external as far as visual.
And this goes back to what you've always said, is keep asking the question why.
Ask the question why.
When you start at the bottom, okay, this is working. Okay, why? This is working up the scapula, up to this and up to that. And then when you get to the shoulder, why is it doing? And then boom, here's where you get your answer.
And if you look at this horse, it's kind of pushed forward and the forearm is kind of set back under the shoulder, which before we even look at the hind end, which I don't have a picture, he's done the same thing in the hind end, meaning the pelvis is cocked out, because if he does it at the front, he'll do it in the back.
To compensate.
Is it a compensation or an accident?
Oh.
So, and to get that change, you've got to be able to get that hind end really flexing and coming under so he can start unloading the back end. And if that saddle's biting him, he can't raise his back. If he can't raise his back, the pelvis can't come under. So that's kind of how the math on that works.
So the owner of this horse has now acknowledged that, hey, I've got to do something with the saddle.
We're looking at saddles, yes.
Okay, so are you out of the picture now? Because you went out there and you've done the feet, you've done the lower part.
Well, right now I'm still working for him.
Okay. Well, for other horses and stuff or whatnot, or just all together?
Well, no, I work for them, and our appointments are set up, and we'll continue to do what we do when we go through the barn. And, if there's any other problems, we'll take a look at it. But the horse has to build back strength and has to be able to raise the back. And if the problem is, this is about the only place I do this, but she deals with a lot of young riders getting started.
Yeah.
And she needs horses that are very safe for them, and they're unbalanced. And, of course, the other end is there's a certain budget. So you can't buy $5,000 handmade saddles for that horse, or if you could even get one for that price, right?
Hey, I got a deal for you.
You do?
My wife is selling one of her dressage horses her dressage saddles that she doesn't need anymore, but it's not that much, but it's probably about half the price of that. Is that in the ballpark still or no?
For them, probably not.
No, darn it. All right, guys, one more little segment. We'll let you get back to enjoying your ponies. You're listening to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. He'll be right back.
Hello again from your South Carolina Horse Council. Did you know that the South Carolina Horse Council invests in programs that support education and equestrian activities for the young people of our state? The council awards numerous youth scholarships annually. We sponsor the state finals event for the South Carolina 4-H Equine program, and we provide full event sponsorship for the year-end South Carolina Future Farmers of America Horse Evaluation program. We also sponsor the South Carolina Governor's School of Agriculture Equine program. Our expo periodically brings education and entertainment to equine enthusiasts of all disciplines. Is law enforcement in your area educated on the special needs of equines? The South Carolina Animal Control Officer Seminar helps familiarize law enforcement and animal control officers with proper care of horses to better identify and investigate cases of neglect or abuse. For more information, visit schhorsecouncil.com.
All right, wrap up the show.
Yeah.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3.
You need army worms in your paddock.
Army worms in my paddock. Why?
Because you're talking about too much grass to graze.
Uh-huh.
Army worms will fix that.
Is that those ones that are crawling on the concrete right now?
I guess.
Little 1-inch gray guys?
I'm not sure 100%, but a lot of people have had problems with army worms, and they are just wiping out the grass.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I go for a walk on that street, the one you always mess up and go have to turn around and come back. You know,
that's my way to get there. You got to go past the driveway, go around, turn around, come back.
I always like to take right turns into the driveway. But I go for a 4-mile walk. I'd walk that 4 times, and that's 4 miles. Right. And I've been seeing them lately, like all these little 1-inch guys. I mean, tons of them just walking across the concrete.
That very much could be, I guess.
Well, there you go.
Somebody told me they were green. You know,
they're more like
I've heard about them, but I've never had to deal with an infestation.
I don't know. I know the backside behind the barn is all like dead, but I think that's Bermuda grass that's on. Anyways, I don't know. We're getting sidetracked here. You ready? Wrap up the show. What did we learn? Wrap up the show?
Right.
Okay, you ready? Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. If you'd like Mike Stine to perform a clinic out at your location, or if you'd like this podcast to perform this live show right at your event, if you got an opening ceremony, if you got a grand opening, some kind of sale or something going on at your business, if you got a barn full of people that want to learn and see the show done in real time, make sure you go over to equinedynamics.com. At the top of the page is clinics. Fill out that little form. Let us know when we can come out to your location, and we'll pencil you in, and we'll schedule you for that as well. And over to my far right side is Mike Stine. How are you?
I'm doing good, Travis. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So we're wrapping up the first episode of season 10. Yes.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
So what did we learn today, Mike? Talking terminology. TSA. Now, tell us what the true definition of TSA. No funny business or anything.
No funny business.
Yeah, tell us what does it mean when someone says the TSA of a horse?
TSA of a horse. Tendon surface angle. They're talking about that angle of the tendon where it comes around the navicular bone to the bottom of to the attachment on the bottom of the coffin bone.
And the true definition is the tendon of the surface angle of the horse's hoof is the angle formed by the connecting drawing line of the distal half of the navicular bone to the line drawn along the hoof's ground surface. So that's basically what you just said, isn't it?
Sort of, kind of.
In the true Webster Dictionary terminology. And also discussing of the
Did Webster check that on his horse?
I think so. I'm all on the wrong camera here. Here we go. And let's go back to, let's see. And discussion of the x-rays of a founder laminitic pony. I'm going to switch back to camera 6 actually on that. And we can see the x-rays of a foundering laminitic horse.
Right.
Tell us about these x-rays.
Well, you know, there you can see some damage. This is probably, those old chronic things that's been cooking along slow because you don't have any big gas pockets in front of the coffin bone. You definitely got some damage down the tip of the coffin bone, and they're just trying to keep this guy happy enough to get around a little bit.
How old is this horse? Do you know?
I have no idea. He's got some age on him.
Does he? And do you know what his job was? I always ask that. What his job was or anything?
Not a clue.
Just a pasture buddy type thing.
A pasture buddy.
And also the case study of Daisy. Let me go back to Daisy's picture. And this is a horse that was a trail horse that was tripping on the road there.
Right.
Towards the end of its walking, or towards the end of the ride.
Yeah, the horse is, in front of the shoulder is way overdeveloped and underdeveloped behind the shoulder, and then you got some stress lines in there. And the feet on the horse, actually, and the pasture alignment, all that looks pretty good. Now, another thing to think about is when you're looking at the shoulder scapula alignment versus the pastern alignment, at the difference in that angle. And there is a pretty major difference there. Mm-hmm. So that has something to do with that horse's way of going on top of the shoulder. So the horse will lean forward onto the front end. Just, it gets tired. It's not working the way it should, and it starts stumbling when it gets tired.
And you're still working with this guy trying to get everyone up and running here.
As best we can.
Well, very good. All right, guys, on that note, if you have a question for Mike Stine, the way you get that in is go to equinedynamics.com. At the top of the page says contact us. Fill out that little form. Make sure you put a physical return address in there, and we'll send you out some swag, some stickers and stuff. Don't forget, I got those new drink koozies coming in. So get yours in now, and they're free for you guys to grab a hold of. Just give him a little comment over there on his website, and make sure you follow him over on Facebook as well. On behalf of Mike Stine over there,
have a good day. Have fun with your ponies.
My name is Travis saying welcome back to season 10, and we'll see you next week.
Good night, Ned. Night, Dusty.
Good night, Ned.
Good night, Ned.
There you go.